Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're back again with another alliance war against GT40, who I must say are incredibly good alliance. They are undefeated at this current point in time in Masters bracket, and they are doing extremely well, dying very few times and giving a run for their money to everyone, which is especially impressive considering that many of them are playing with somewhat more limited rosters than the standard top end top tier alliance war alliances. So I definitely wanted to give out huge profs to GT40 because they definitely have been kicking some serious ass this season, and that also means that this is going to be extremely hard and close fought alliance war. We are also still undefeated going in this war, and we plan to keep that way. We hopefully want to retain the first spot. If we can do that this season again, that would be absolutely insanely amazing. But obviously one war at a time. So this is war number 6 in season 23, marking the halfway point in this current season. And as pretty much always, I'm on path 1 in section 1, and I'm going to be on path 1 in section 2 as well. I'll have some mini boss action. So first fight here is Dragon Man, and I have seen him here a couple of times, and I have taken him with Human Torch before, but since I did have Dr. Doom here, I decided to go in with Dr. Doom, because Dr. Doom has quite potent power control abilities and nullification abilities if I cannot power control him for whatever reasons. So I just felt quite a bit safer. Plus, Dr. Doom is a lot tankier than Human Torch is. Now, it did make a small slip up there, but luckily it didn't really cost me much. But yes, this is your standard vigorous assault arc overload path, and the main idea is obviously to ideally buff control the guy and then just finish the fight out. Now I did play this a bit riskier than I should have, probably because if that level 2 wouldn't have finished the job, he was at 3 bars of power and I would have been in some trouble, even though I don't think that I would have died after that level 3. But with Dragon Man then comes the entire unstoppable shtick and his region and everything else. So yeah, it wasn't the best way how to finish out that fight, but still finished it relatively well with high health remaining, one small slip up, and now we're off to fight number 2, which is Spider Gwen on this Masochism lane. And Spider Gwen is a stubborn defender. That's right, we are going up against a stubborn defensive tactic once again, and that actually kind of makes this fight a bit tricky, obviously, because Masochism is going to get constantly triggered by me trying to parry, which I kind of have to do if I don't want to play heavy only, which I don't feel confident enough in. But thanks to some boosts and Quake's abilities and Despair Mastery and everything else, I am managing to out damage the Masochism region. I just need to stay on my toes, see every single time when I do land that parry, but it gets shrugged off by Masochism, and then albeit somewhat slower but still steady and quickly enough, I am managing to finish off this Spider Gwen. At this point she's at like 2% health, and last set of aftershocks kick in, so very standard, not too tricky Quake fight there. And next up, another quick fight. Now this fight, I honestly don't know why anyone places Captain Marvel movie here, or for that same matter of fact, why anybody really plays her in defense altogether. Because of that inherent weakness to Mystic Champions and Mystic Champions dealing energy damage, she just always goes down in like a matter of an instant. There isn't that much that can go wrong in this fight, and we can see that 20 seconds in, 20 something seconds in, she just goes down. So this was definitely a very straightforward, very simple fight. I honestly do not recommend Captain Marvel movie on this node, or it's hard, to be honest, to picture a place where she would pose a real threat, I think, on alliance or defense. But that was it for my participation in section 1. So very simple, very straightforward start. But as an alliance, we didn't have a great start. And by the time I was going to bed, we were actually losing because as one of our biggest, weaknesses or shortcomings as an alliance is that we often go away early deaths. And then everybody kind of like spurs up, and I think that's the biggest problem for us as an alliance, where we make a lot of wars significantly harder than they should be, and wars like this we simply risk on losing because GT40, they're playing extremely well. The death counts on both sides are so low, and I think at the point when I woke up and as I am doing these fights, we were still losing, or it was tied. It was like 2 deaths to 2 deaths or 3 deaths to 3 deaths, which was the status for like the longest time ever. So needless to say, both alliances put up extremely good performances. But yeah, next up, I am on my way to path 1 in section 2, and this is the Burden of Might EMP modification lane and Human Torch scare. And Human Torch is again very straightforward, very simple fight for Quake. Quake is still such an MVP for Alliance War. She's taking on so many difficult fights. And what is the best thing about Quake, I think, is that not only she takes hard fights in pretty much any game mode, it's also that she does it as secure and as reliable and as stable as anyone could, or even more so. That's why it's always so comforting when you actually get to use Quake for these kind of like critical wars. These are always the fights I'm not worried about. I could be worried about when I'm using Human Torch or Dr. Doom to a degree, but not too much because of how tanky he is. But with Quake, it just feels so safe and so secure. Also, at this point, as I said, the war was effectively tied, or we were still losing by 1. So, max boosts, 3-minute boosts, all that other stuff. That's very, very important to do everything you possibly can and not to mess up and not to die. Because I can imagine of very few things that would feel worse than to let down your alliance in a war like this. And even more so for a stupid reason, like you were lazy not to change your masteries, or you just were cheapskating it through and didn't want to boost or heal fully, or you didn't want to activate a 3-minute boost or something like that. So I have had situations like that in the past, and I am always these days trying my best to make sure I'm doing whatever I can to make sure I have the highest possible chance of not screwing things up. And the first fight there, as we saw, was Symbiote Supreme on a Wigger lane, and it absolutely melted there. And not much to comment on. Human Torch just flew through that guy. Now this fight, on the other hand, is somewhat trickier. It's Korg on Buffet Node and Lionheart. Now I am using Human Torch with pre-fight ability on because obviously they are passives. Korg cannot shrug these off. And there is another reason, which is I don't want to reverse his healing, so I don't want to play too aggressively because of the Lionheart node. So I do mess up here, but again, Indestructible Boost absorbs the 2 hits that I received. I still should have like 1 hit left on it. But truth be told, I kind of wanted to get hit by them, or more specifically, I just want to get those smolders to increase my damage. Now, I still don't quite get the chance to get my temperature all the way up, but still eating this level 1 as well just gave me the temperature. Obviously, it's not the ideal scenario, and this one I just flat out ate up. But again, that is why you boost, that is why you put on those indestructibles. So not a perfect fight at all. I definitely could have played this one better, but part of it is not to try and do everything as fancy or eloquent as you want, but just to make sure that you can finish these fights straight up. And as we can see, it worked. Human Torch torched down that Korg, and we can move on to the next fight. The next fight is Coop's Wasp. For those of you who do not know, Coop is also a YouTuber. He has a channel of his own called Coop440. And if his Alliance War video is out by the time I upload mine, I will leave a link to that one. If not, just look out for his username in YouTube and you will find his channel. He does upload frequently, so go and check him out. He's quite skilled player, very good with Ghost and some other stuff. Right, but when it comes to his Wasp, obviously Wasp is a quite glass cannon-y champion, or more specifically, she's pretty much like a definition of a glass cannon. She hits hard, has access to guaranteed crits and all that good stuff, but her health pool is very, very small. So with Quake, bypassing the buffet node, not too much to worry about, very simple, straightforward Quake fight. And this was the first point where we kind of took the lead. There we could see that it was 4 deaths against 3 deaths, but they were ahead in exploration by like 16 still. So the war is still insanely close. And yeah, everything can still happen, obviously, because we still had like 30 plus fights to go. They had less than us to do. But we had, for the first time in this war, an opening to win it. Now, I'm going to be doing a Mojo mini-boss on that Vigorous Assault. I wanted to show you guys that I did take off Dexterity, and he also maxed out the Mastery that reduces their power, combat power rate or power gain and regeneration abilities when they are under effects of stun, because that is pretty much going to go my strategy here. And again, it's not going to be a perfect fight at all, but I'm doing everything I can to make sure I get through this fight. So that means I'm boosting heavily. I'm going to activate another 3-minute boost, so second invulnerability boost this war. And this also is my last fight for the war. I have taken quite a few of them. I actually think I end up being the MVP of the entire Alliance War in my team, so that's kind of cool. It's always very gratifying to see your name up there in the top 3 player list, especially for tight and close wars. So yeah, it's going to be Human Torch against Mojo. I could have used Quake, but in this case I wanted to bring in the rank 3 6-star champion, and I wanted to obviously capitalize on the fact that Mojo is Mystic. I am boosted up, and I'm just doing whatever I can. So the plan here is, again, quite simple. I want to only do 2 hits while he's under stun, and I'm doing it also to help myself to build up smolders quicker, because that is a huge part, obviously, of Human Torch's damage. Now, at this point, I had to bet out his level 2, which he, luckily for me, did throw. At some point here, I will actually mess up somewhere. I don't remember where or how I will get tagged, but as you can see, I have like 20 smolders. So each incinerate that I do inflict on the guy does a lot of damage. Oh, right, here he somehow dashed out of me, parried me, ate up my indestructible boost, but that's what it's there for. And at this point, he was down to like 6% health, and he had some incinerates obviously on him already. And I'm just going to drop my level 3, and the fight is over. And that is it for my participation in the war. As I said, I ended up being the MVP of the war. Didn't die, which is obviously absolutely amazing. So that also means I still haven't died this entire first half of the season. Very good start to the season, very happy with that. Hopefully last season I died once, so hopefully this season I go without any deaths. And ASR is doing well. As I said, currently we are 6-0. We are in the first place, but obviously it's neck and neck, because I believe there are 2 teams now left undefeated, ASR and Kenobi. So it's only a matter of time, more than likely, that we end up facing each other, probably sooner than later. But yeah, very close and exciting Alliance War, so I want to once again extend my props shout out to GT40, that possibly the most skilled alliance currently in the game, because they are kind of like punching upwards. They are often bringing in 565 champions against rank 3 defenders, versus top end alliances are often using rank 3 attackers versus many of their 565 defenders. So they definitely are performing well above and beyond I don't know, the math of MCOC, I guess. But yes, that is it for now. I do hope you guys enjoyed today's Alliance War video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna be back with more videos. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about